We are the highest rated cooking show in Nevada County on public access. Hey, welcome back to Let's Get Cooking. I'm your host, John Voorhees, and just a friendly reminder that we air Thursday at 11 o'clock. So I'm so glad you could join us, because this month on Let's Get Cooking, we're going to answer a question that has plagued humanity for hundreds of years. And that is, what do you get when you mix cornmeal with a Greek monster with a famous French writer? And to answer this question, we brought in Kim Allen Jones, Chef Spectacular. Kim, what do you get when you mix cornmeal mush with a Greek monster and a famous French writer?
Polenta with gorgonzola.
Polenta with gorgonzola. I'm sorry, the jokes are just going to get worse from here on out, ladies and gentlemen. But let's hear for Kim Allen Jones. So nice to have her with us today. Now, my understanding, Kim, is you've never set foot in the kitchen before. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Oh, come on. Now, don't be modest with me. Can you share a little bit of your experience with us?
All right, if I must. Well, I've been cooking since I was 15 professionally, basically.
Is that a single meal, or do you mean, because that'd be...
No, I've been working with food for a long time.
Okay,
Let's put it that way.
Okay, yeah.
And I have been cooking, teaching cooking classes for about 20 years.
Wow.
And all over the world, which has been really fun, because it's given me a real opportunity to learn about other cuisines and a lot of other different types of equipment and cultures. It's been really amazing.
So let's just jump right to it. Are you familiar with the concept of a hot plate? Has that appeared in your cooking experience before?
Yes.
Okay, because we just want to be sure that we have that. And where, in what other parts of the world have you been cooking?
I cooked in Mexico, Israel, Poland, France, and Peru was my last overseas cooking experience.
Right, so I think what Kim is telling us is that she and your husband have been kicked out of a number of lovely countries and are constantly on the move. But wonderful, you picked up a lot of different skills. So today it's polenta. Did I describe it correctly? Cornmeal mush, is that right?
Yes, polenta is an Italian comfort food, and it's actually in polenta, in Italy, it can be made out of any type of grain that's finely ground. In the United States, it tends to be cornmeal.
Cornmeal.
Yeah.
Oh, so it doesn't have to be, polenta is not cornmeal specific.
No.
I didn't know that. I would also like to just back to Emile Zola really quickly. He also was a professional wrestler, and Gorgonzola was his wrestling name, and I'm not sure that I shared that earlier, so I just want to get that out in the open. Well, let's start. Let's learn how to make polenta with Gorgonzola and cherry tomatoes, right?
With cherry tomatoes, sauteed cherry tomatoes, yes.
Sauteed cherry tomatoes.
So this dish, polenta, actually can take anywhere from 25 to 50 minutes to cook. We don't have that kind of time today, so I'm doing the quick method. And what I'm going to start with is a roll of pre-cooked polenta, and I'm going to basically mash it up and use it that way. We're going to cut it up a little bit, put it into a bowl. This is super easy. There's lots of different ways you can cook polenta. When you start from scratch, you're going to very slowly cook it with water. It's a 1-to-1 ratio, basically, for the initial polenta. I've cut my roll up into pieces, and I'm going to use my pastry cutter to cut it up a little bit. And it's going to put it into nice pieces, and you just work it in the bowl.
And if I could jump in here, this is also a great upper body workout.
Right.
So, if you've done torso one day, you're going to do upper body, you might consider smashing polenta as an addition to your gym workout. I find that's very helpful.
So let's get our pan going. This is a good sized pan. You want plenty of room to be able to stir. I'm going to crank up my heat a little bit, and I'm going to add my about 1 cup, half and half. To start with, we're going to get that heated up.
So we made the polenta, but that's water and cornmeal, for example.
Right.
It's taking consistency if we were doing this from scratch. we break it into smaller pieces or mash it, and then we're boiling it with
No,
half and
you-
half. No, not boiling, I guess.
Well, you're gonna use water initially, and then you're gonna, yes, and then
Right,
you're
right.
gonna add the half and half,
And then half and
so,
half afterwards, okay.
yeah.
Good to know.
And to make your consistency that you want for the creamy polenta. Because polenta, as it begins to set, once you've cooked it in the water, as it cools down, it will solidify. So you can put it in a loaf pan to make it into a loaf shape, to be able to cut it into slices.
Okay, so
Or-
is it used for, is it like a building material in Italy as well, or just strictly in the kitchen?
Possibly.
Did you make bricks out of it? That's kind of what I'm
Not
hearing here. Put it in
But,
a loaf shape.
But you can pan, once you've got your shape that you want, if you want to put it in the refrigerator or just wait until it solidifies, once it's hard, you can cut it into shapes and you can saute it in a little bit of butter or oil. I actually worked at a northern Italian restaurant where we made it a little on the sweet side, which was interesting, and served it with a bunch of different grilled meats.
Oh,
And that was
that sounds
really,
wonderful.
really delicious.
Wow. I will tell you, my mouth is absolutely salivating right now.
Good.
Just thinking about it.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and put this in my cream, and we're gonna let it heat up so that it starts to warm up the polenta, and then you can easily use a stiff whisk and break up the, thank you.
Yes, sure.
Get rid of this. Whoop.
Oh,
We can easily start breaking it up and getting it to thicken up as it heats.
the light just went off. There we go. Okay, it must mean it's that temperature.
It just sit, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Now,
well,
polenta is it always, is it a main dish? Is it a side dish?
all of the above. You can actually make polenta cake as well. So
I was going to ask for
lots of
dessert. Is it
different things.
potentially a dessert then?
Yes, a delicious sweet cake that's not difficult to make. This is, like I said, this is comfort food, so this is very, common in the Italian household. And
Let me just jump in here. I think I speak for a lot of members of the audience here. I'm going to say, Kim, I think you're all over the place on how polenta can be served. So just, pick an answer.
lots of different
Next
ways.
thing you're going to tell me it's an hors d'oeuvre as well. I mean, that's
Yes.
Yeah.
You can cut it into little rings and put bruschetta on the top.
Bruschetta. Okay, I'm sorry. I went to school with a guy named Brooks Skeda. I don't know what happened to him. Brooks, we call him.
Bruschetta.
Yeah. All right, so we're making it creamy here.
Yes, so we're gonna make it creamy. And it just takes a little while to heat up. So while that's happening, I'm gonna, once it gets heated up, I'm gonna go ahead and add about 2 cups of polenta in the roll, and then a cup of half and half, and we're gonna heat that up, come on, baby. And then we're gonna add, once I've got it creamy, we're gonna add about 4 tablespoons of butter and about quarter pound, maybe a little more, of crumbled gorgonzola.
Now, on the saute, are you looking for bubbles forming, or
Yeah, it's gotta heat up so that it's the whole thing's gotta heat up, so.
is it safe for me to come? Do you want a multi? I guess you've got everything.
No, I've got
squared
everything
away.
ready, yeah.
Kim told me earlier before taping that you were in a vocal group at the Cordon Bleu called the Ramekins, right? Wasn't that the name of the singing group you were in? It would be great. If you wanted to share a song with us, I think we'd love to hear it.
Actually, I wasn't in a vocal group. I was working my tail off at the cooking school, and
But the
yes,
Ramekins would be a good name for a vocal group, wouldn't it? It sounds like an a cappella group.
that is
Just
really true.
That is true. See, I've never let being honest get in the way of actually speaking, so I just share that with you.
So were you ever in a vocal group?
Yes.
Can you sing?
Oh, you want more? No, it just yes seemed like a funnier answer. No, I tend to sing tenor. People ask if I would sing 10 or 12 miles away, actually, is the type of singing I do. So no, vocal singing is not my thing.
I would have liked to, when I was a mom. No,
Yeah.
I'm still a mom.
Okay.
But my son, when we'd get in the car, I'd sing to the radio, and he'd say, "Mama, don't sing.
Yeah.
Mama, don't sing."
Yeah. It's cruel. Those children, they have no respect, no kindness.
They are.
Yeah, people love children all over the world. I don't know why. Go figure.
Yes.
Now, would you serve was it your son? Would you serve him polenta?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a cake or as a?
Well, there's lots of different ways to serve it. If you add butter to it, once you've cooked it, at the end you can serve a million different toppings over it. Mushrooms, sautéed mushrooms. You can do the tomatoes. You can put Italian sausage and a tomato sauce. Any of your tomato sauces or any of your stews you can serve over polenta.
Now, if you add butter, would that be called polenta with butter? I'm just asking. Well, you really stumped you on that one. You had to think of it. But that's the start. But then
Yeah.
So it takes everything, is what I'm hearing.
Yes, it takes everything. You can also add herbs into it if you want to, and also that's a really good way to do it if you're going to make a little canapé or something like that. It dresses up the polenta a little bit. You just take that roll, that initial roll, cut it into slices,
All right.
And saute it in a pan and put a topping on it. Here we go. Sounds like we're
Is
getting
that
some
doing what you
action
needed to do
finally.
now?
Yeah.
We'll just rev that up. Good to know.
So this you want it to heat up, and you're just going to stir it to get it nice and creamy.
And so this is, I think we're going to go beyond our regular way of doing things. Normally it's a half-hour show, but I think today will be a 5-hour show. So we wait for the polenta to heat up. I think we'll enjoy that.
No, while we're doing this though, what I think I'll do is go ahead and start my tomatoes.
Aha, there we
It's
are.
hot.
I was wondering if you were going to multitask on us.
There we go. I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons of olive oil. There we go. So
Oh, it's looking good.
keep mixing. This is starting to break up a little bit.
But you know, I'm kind of with Neil Sedaka on that. Breaking up is hard to do, even if it's polenta. Don't you feel?
Neil Sedaka.
I guess you had some heat.
Definitely.
Yeah. I don't think, I think he's got an Italian background, but he probably ate a lot of polenta growing
Sedaka,
up.
yeah, probably.
Now, do you know, and this actually is a serious question, but polenta, is it like one of those Italian comfort foods? So, and I don't want to use the word peasant, but it's one of those things which just been around forever and
Yes. Yes,
so it seems to me it hit my first awareness of like in the last 20 or 30 years. I think Americans learned about polenta. Maybe it's always been around.
No. It's been around since Italians have been in the United States, so that's been a long time.
20 or 30 years.
And we produce a lot of corn in this country, so.
Yes.
All right.
Well, it's really coming along now. Look
Yeah.
at that, steaming.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna turn it down just a hair now that we've got action. Okay. So now we're gonna take our ingredients for our tomatoes, and we're gonna go ahead and add these in here.
Cherry tomatoes.
Right hot
What
enough.
is that? Maybe a pound of tomatoes or so?
Yes, that is a pound of tomatoes.
And we're sauteing, or I say we, but it's really watching you do all the work. You're sauteing tomatoes, and my understanding is when you heat tomatoes, you get more health benefits from them. Never disagree with the host of the show, because that's just poor form. Yeah.
I'm a cook, not a nutritionist.
You don't, okay. So you could actually roll with that and say, yes, John, that's absolutely true.
Yes,
I have read, no, there's
absolutely true.
leukophene. Someone can look this up, but there's something in tomatoes that is better for you once they're heated.
So I'm going to go ahead and add my butter now, because this is starting to thicken up a little bit. And the butter and the cheese is going to thin it down.
And that was what, maybe 3 or 4 pounds of butter you put in there?
No, 4 tablespoons.
I get my butter from a guy named Pat, but that's just personal preference.
I get mine from cows.
Oh, cows, yeah. Oh, look at that.
So those are starting to go.
You can really get the tension here in the studio with a knife when the tomatoes start sauteing. I guess everyone gets excited about that. Who doesn't like a good sauteed tomato? I know I do.
Well, these are gonna be delicious.
All right.
So now I'm gonna add my cheese.
So that's the gorgonzola.
That's the gorgonzola.
And it's going to pull
And that's
up.
also
This
gonna
is
thin it out a little
wonderful.
bit. Okay, your tomatoes.
That's nice because you're increasing the health benefits as you saute the tomatoes. I'm sure you're familiar with that.
Yes.
Okay, now what's that, salt?
Salt.
Little
I'm
salt?
just gonna add a little bit of salt to the gorgonzola, to the polenta with the gorgonzola, because the gorgonzola tends to be a little salty. And we're gonna add some fresh ground pepper. I like fresh ground salt and pepper to get the most flavor out of what you're adding.
Okay.
Gonna add some garlic
Oh, yes.
and basil. About 2 tablespoons of basil.
Homegrown?
Oh, sure.
Yes. I thought so.
It will be this summer. And about 2 tablespoons of,
This is oregano?
no, parsley.
Oh, parsley.
Very simple, very simple. So we're gonna stir that around. Throw the rest of my olive oil in there. How's it smelling?
Oh, it's wonderful. Well, I've asked that a few questions. I've asked that question a few times in my life, I guess. Don't get me started. All right, so we've got tomatoes with parsley, basil, garlic. Wonderful. Ah, it looks great. And I know it's going to be delicious. And you don't need the oven, but you could.
No, I
So
don't need the
let me,
oven.
I know we're not making polenta cake, but if I were making polenta cake, does it go in the oven or do you?
Oh yeah, the polenta cake goes in the oven.
All right.
Has eggs.
But it doesn't
shredded.
rise or anything, does it?
Oh, well, if you put, yeah.
It does?
Does rise a little bit, yeah.
What I like about the show is I get to share my complete and utter ignorance about cooking with the world. Polenta cake rises.
All right. We are just about ready. So I'm gonna give that just a second more. Once they start splitting for real, then they're ready to come off. Give it just a second more. So we're still rotating along here.
Well, I see we got the creamy polenta part down.
Yeah.
That looks good. So you don't want to whip it till it's completely, I guess you could, but
Yeah.
that looks very nice consistency to me.
Taste. Frizzling. Oh my gosh.
You happy?
Yummy.
We just want you to be happy, Kim.
Yummy. You don't have to add a lot of seasoning with the gorgonzola.
Oh, looks wonderful. Now, the gorgonzola, does it melt as a cheese?
Yes.
Yeah, it would.
Yes, it definitely melts.
Okay. All right, so where are we at? We've got the cream polenta, we've got sauteed tomatoes. Are you happy with the state of the tomatoes?
Yes, the tomatoes look great.
All right.
So I'm going to go ahead and put my polenta into my serving bowl.
You know, I know you've done all the work. I tend to think of it more as our polenta, but if you really feel strongly that's your polenta, I guess we should have discussed that before we start filming.
It's really my polenta.
It's your polenta. Some people, I'm telling you, it does smell wonderful.
And then we're just going to pile the cherry tomatoes in the middle. Make sure we get all that good stuff out of the pot.
Look at that. Nice and healthy. What a
Yeah.
gorgeous meal.
It
Very
really
colorful.
is. And it tastes amazing too. And these are great. This is a great vegetarian dish.
Are you off? I think. Oh,
That way.
Yep.
All right. Very good. Would you like to partake?
Oh my Lord, I've been waiting patiently. Let me take these out of the oven. Oh, ooh, are these hot? There we go. Oh, look how beautiful that is. I hope
It
you guys
is.
can
It's
get
very
close. So that's just
colorful.
colorful, beautiful. righty. Well, let's take a look here. Oh, let's take a look. Let's taste it, Kim. I'm gonna wait for you. Try not to trash the place here, okay? Cheers.
Cheers.
I guess that's what we'll
Forks
do.
up.
Well, let's not use that language here in the studio. Oh my, that's really good. Boy, that gorgonzola really answers.
It really
doesn't
comes through.
Doesn't it come?
It's really
Okay, let's
delicious.
try it. I haven't had any tomato. Let's try that. So you've been cooking this for 20 years? That's a very long, this seems like it's been only about 20 minutes to me. It's a much faster recipe.
Yeah.
Oh, this is lovely.
So, like I said earlier, it makes a great side dish. It makes a great full vegetarian entree. Some nice bread, salad, and a great bottle of Pinot Grigio.
I was going to ask, what would you? Yeah, Pinot Grigio. White wine. That's a.
White wine or red wine? Not a heavy red wine. A
Kim,
Pinot
I've enjoyed
Noir.
your company, but you will not give me a straight answer on any of this polenta-related stuff. It's white wine, red wine, cake, aperitif.
Well, because
Side
you have
dish, main
cheese,
dish.
it goes with white wine,
Oh, you're right, yeah.
but it's a strong cheese, and you have tomatoes, so the
This is
the
phenomenal.
Pinot Noir would be really great with this.
All right, Pinot Grigio, Pinot Noir. Wonderful. Well, let's again have a round of applause for me doing for Kim, who did all this wonderful work with creamy polenta, with gorgonzola and cherry tomatoes. Absolutely a fantastic meal. And again, watch out for us. We're coming out once a month, and we will be on your favorite outlet, be it cable or be it YouTube or Facebook, what have you. I'm John Voorhees, and this concludes another Let's Get Cooking, and now we're going to do Let's Get Eating, because I think that's what my personal strength is. So thanks a lot, everyone. See you next time.